snap, you guys. It's already that time of the year where we start getting ready for the horrors of what's to come for media. Because we're here to celebrate Halloween. That Halloween time is finally here, y'all. And there are tons of great movies and TV shows and even video games that we can do to celebrate the time of Halloween. Now, personally, the horror genre is probably one of my favorite genres of all time, just because they put out some of the greatest pieces of art. And when you get that spine-tingling, goosebump feeling from a really crazy, good, scary movie, it makes you really wonder, could that be real? Or could it not? With that being said, I figured I'd touch up the movie room just a little bit to match more of the greatest time of the year. Alright, hopefully that fits the tone a little more. Actually, let me change the color on my light here. So I just wanted to change the light to see more, but now we have the media room fit to a little bit more of like the Halloween theme we got going for here. But with that being said, this actually is going to be my first ever episode of me doing one of these, like reviews on a movie. And why not do it on a brand new, newly released movie that just came out, which hit the HBO Max stream service. And that movie is going to be Stephen King's remake of Salem's Lot. By the way, I got the coffee mug to fit the theme here. So if you guys never read a Stephen King novel, they do come with a lot of really originated content. I believe Salem's Lot was written a really long time ago, around the time of 1979. Actually, I will fact check that. I don't know that. Oh yeah, it's a 1975 horror novel. This movie is, it comes a long way, okay? Now, the one thing I will say is that Stephen King's material that he has written over the time has really changed the horror genre as an aspect of not even in just writing, but even in the terms of movie making. Because, obviously we got a lot of different things, Pet Sematary, It, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. But as we continue to thrive and make new movies, people still cling to Stephen King's older movies. They still kind of do good. So I don't know if you guys have seen the newest It Chapter 1 or It Chapter 2. I liked them. I didn't think they were that bad. Were they anything like the source material? I don't know. I've never read the source material, so I'm not like an OG fan. But from somebody who has watched a lot of movies and watched a lot of horror movies to give a decent opinion, or just my own opinion, because I can. I don't think they're bad. I think they're good. Stephen King has some pretty good original stories. Now with Salem's Lot though, it has a good twist and turn of what the antagonist is, because it gives off this really crazy haunted vibes, eerie vibes they set up in the trailer. But for those who have never seen the original Salem's Lot or even read the books or even know what it's about, they could be a little misturned when they figure out what the antagonist is when it comes to the revealing point. The greatest thing about this film, and maybe the only good thing about it, is that it has really good visuals. There was really good shots on some of the scenes, the color grade was really good. Even some of the art pieces looks really good. The movie looks well taken care of. But there are some things that the movie struggles in. And I would say its plot is not really driven. And the fact that it is a horror movie, but it's not really scary at all. There are a lot of points where it sets up the tone of it being really scary, or it has a strong horror aspects, but it doesn't execute them well. This movie is missing a lot of execution on most of its parts, including the ending. I thought the ending missed so much execution. They could have did way better. But I don't know if that's them trying to stick to the originality of the source material that it came from, or maybe something studio-wise happened. Sometimes movies go through studio production and they either get rushed or they don't have the budget to make it perfect, or it just doesn't work out for them. It's just not their piece that they really put their whole heart into. And I feel like with this movie, it kind of was and wasn't that. You could feel it when watching it. But now we're gonna get into spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen Salem's Lot and you're going any further, or if you have seen it and you want to talk a little bit more about it, spoilers ahead. Okay, so the coolest thing about this movie was the vampire aspect. Now, I do like vampires. Like, don't get me wrong. Some of the movies like don't do it right. But I would say Salem's Lot really did the vampire thing pretty well, and they made them look super creepy. Now, I feel like that was one of the things that it didn't do properly. With some horror movies, you want to build as much tension as possible to your viewers so that they're clinging to their seat the entire time they're watching. It immediately revealed Barlow really fast, and Barlow is like the head vampire that kind of controls everybody into vampires. But like you see Barlow as soon as he kills the first victim. You can see him there. There's no like tension. There's no like crazy build up. The shot of him getting splattered all over his first servant, which I already forgot his name. It's not like tension revealing. It's more of like a gut gruesome punch. You're like, oh wow, this monster obviously just murdered this child. So it's a serious threat. But you already saw what this monster looked like. It looked like a vampire. If you were to build up tension to it, first-time watchers or even repeating watchers, people want to see, what does Barlow look like? Is Barlow going to look the same as from the other ones? Is Barlow going to look like a completely different monster? You don't know until you build up that tension. But we already see the monster the first couple minutes of the film, and I don't know, it just kind of kills it. You already know what it is. But you can still work off of that. It's not like a bad thing. You could still build tension without revealing your monster too early. There's a lot of movies, I believe, that have done that already. Whenever they started, slowly killing the kids and slowly taking over like more vampire victims, I did really like the segment whenever it was the first guy. It was like the first adult that became a vampire. I thought that guy was really cool and he killed it really well. And that's when they revealed that they start slowly learning that these are vampires when they have like the crucifix that starts glowing like super bright. Now the crucifix glowing really bright, that was pretty cool. They really nailed down like every vampire weakness in this movie like perfectly. They did the stake to the heart, cross, garlic, all that kind of stuff. And especially the little kid, I think his name was Mark. Oh, that kid's got some balls, dude. All these adults were like shivering and like, oh, there's vampires. They're gonna suck our blood out. He immediately saw his first vampire and he's like, nope, vampires. This is how we kill them, this is what we do. Where's the head chef? I'm cooking them tonight. This kid was ready for action. So he was probably like my favorite part of the whole movie, besides like obviously the cinematography in this movie. But the one thing that really bugged me was just how they didn't make this movie like really scary. It was more of like how much of a cinematography aspect of it. It was really nice. Like the scene of when he runs into like the rest of the already like vampire town, and you see all of them on the roofs, you see him on the streets, and he's like, oh my god, and he runs back to the cathedral, and then the one person grabs him, and then that's when he gets his like stake to the heart victim there in front of the cathedral. That part was cool. But there was nothing scary about that. There was like literally zero scariness because you know what these things are, you know their weakness, you know how to beat them, and you're just waiting for your like right moment to fight them. When a lot of people when watching this movie can be easily misturned by that, just for the sake of, it's a scary movie. It's not really scary, but the plot is pretty cool. I think the plot is pretty cool. I mean, it starts building up more, and I really like the way they start killing off most of these characters, and they're showing how they're vampires, the way they show that they're vampires. They showed it really well. They explained it well too, like how they're vampires, and then they even showed really well their weaknesses. So I would say I give props to a lot of the people who put the time and effort to really make this a vampire movie. And I don't know how the hell a rabies shot worked, because she got bit by a vampire and then she did a rabies shot, and I was like, I don't think that's worked. Like, is it like a disease like that? And it worked, I guess. I don't know. A rabies shot reduces you becoming a vampire? Is that going on his list too? You got garlic, steaks, crucifixes, the sun, and a rabies shot? I mean, if it works, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Now, the one biggest disappointment about this movie that I was kind of like let down about was the ending. The thing about the ending of this movie was that they do discover a lot of the regular vampires are like inside of the car's trunks, and they're like their coffins. And when the sun starts setting, or the sun starts going down, all the trunks are like, it's really cool. I really like the way the cinematography was kind of like showing how these trunks were popping open. We're seeing these coffins come out. That part was really cool. When we get to the main boss, Barlow himself, the one thing about it was that this guy is the head honcho of the vampires, so obviously he should be the strongest of them, in my opinion. If not, because he controls these vampires, these other vampires. It's kind of like a hive mind in a way, the way they made it seem like. He just confronts Mark, and then they literally just stab him in the heart, stake to the heart, just like any other vampire. But it was so, like, the way they executed it was so funny. It wasn't even, like, serious. It was just like, he's that final boss. You want to get that epic fight going, but he literally was just like, hey. Like, movies should not end like that. It was just too simple, And I don't know if it was like a studio budget thing. I don't know if it was just like they didn't have time to make it, cool or anything. But that was one of its biggest flaws, that it had a horrible, basic ending. They literally just turned him over, stabbed him. All right, let's ride into the sunset. I guess everybody's dead now. Now, I'm not sure why this movie was cut out like this, but maybe there was a reason why it only got put on streaming services. So who knows? Who knows? I don't know of any movies that just kind of like lowball their movie because it's not going to hit, cinemas immediately, and it's just going to be thrown on a streaming service. So just F it. Just give them whatever. It could have done better. It could have done way better. It could have truly paid the best respects to Stephen King and his novel. But I feel like it kind of did, in a way. But is this the greatest movie of all time? Absolutely not. Is this the worst movie of all time? No, but it could be around, almost close to that category of not the greatest of all time. Is it a fun movie to watch for the Halloween theme of binging horror movies? Absolutely. If you want to get into, the mood of getting ready for Halloween and just kind of watching a good amount of horror movies on a streaming service such as Max, which has tons of other better horror movies that you can watch. With that being said, if you guys want to watch Salem's Lot, it is going to be on Max, HBO Max, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be there for all of Halloween season, so give it a watch in your Halloween binge. I think the next movie we're probably going to be talking about is probably Terrifier or Smile. We're going to be looking forward to more of these cinema movies that are coming out this year for the Halloween season theaters. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the first ever video of me reviewing a movie. And yeah, go watch Salem's Lot. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys don't agree with my opinion, let me know too. And if you guys liked it, let me know. The movie wasn't that bad. The movie wasn't that good though. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Happy Halloween.